We dedicate this very day. It's an awesome celebration. Woo! We dedicate this next song because it's been a long journey, but we can see the end. We see that there's something shifting. So we dedicate this song to the climb. We're climbing higher. Come on. For everybody that's been elected, we that dream.
I'm dreaming.
There's a voice.
There's a voice inside my head. You'll never reach it.
Every step
I'm taking.
every move I make.
Every move I make.
Lost.
Lost in no direction.
My faith gets shaken.
My faith is shaking.
But
I gotta keep trying.
gotta keep my head up. Going
Gotta keep my head held high.
to a newly elected governor. There's always gonna be another mountain.
There's always gonna be another mountain.
Always gonna wanna.
Always gonna wanna make it move.
Always gonna be an
Always
uphill
gonna
battle.
be an uphill battle.
Sometimes
You're gonna have to lose.
ain't about
How fast I get.
ain't about what's waiting.
About what's waiting on the other side.
Y'all get ready to pull your phones out.
It's the climb.
We're gonna light this place up because we lighten Illinois up. Come on. The struggles,
I'm facing.
the chances I'm taking. Yeah, y'all got it. Come on. Sometimes might not, but I'm not breaking.
No, I'm not brave.
That's it. Come on. That's what I'm talking about right there.
And I know
But these are the moments. Come on, y'all remember. Just gotta keep growing. But I gotta be. Come on. We're not gonna stop, but we gonna push. Come on. Everybody, Illinois, come on. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Woo! Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes. Take it up, come on, children. Ain't no bound what's away. Let's go, y'all. Woo! That is the climb. Come on, that's William. That's good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, we gonna keep on climbing. We keep it on moving. Can't nothing stop you. Let's keep the faith. Everybody, let's sing it together. There's always gonna be another mountain. Say it. Always gonna wanna make it. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes you're gonna have to lose, but ain't about. Ain't about what's waiting. It's the climb. We climbing to a new level, a new dimension. We can see the end in sight. Come on. So everybody, we telling you, keep climbing. Keep climbing. Keep the faith. It's all about the climb.
It's all about.
Okay, they said keep going. We're gonna lift them up then. We're just gonna they want some church. They wanna feel it. So we're gonna do, get your hands together, get ready to clap. Come on, let's run that track. Here we go, put your hands together. Now it's been a hard struggle for a lot of people to get to this point. But we want to let everybody know, all over this state, here we go. No matter what the problem, I'm gonna lift him. Said I got the victory. He's the reason. Come on, y'all can clap. Come on, act like. No matter what the problem may be, I'm gonna lift him for the whole world. I've got the victory. He's the reason. Try to keep up, keep up. He said, be lifted up. I'll draw all men unto me. I know that I'm gonna lift him up. Still he speaks from eternity. He said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me. I know that I'm gonna lift him up. Till he speaks from eternity. Come on, soul children, look at him and tell him, no matter what the problem may be, I'm gonna lift him up. Said I got the victory. He's the reason. One more time, said, no matter what the problem may be, and there's been some problems, but that's all right. Said I've got the victory. He's the reason. He said if I be lifted up all over the state, I'll draw all men unto me. I know that I'm gonna lift him up till he speaks from eternity. nation. Everybody put your hands together like this. If you're not real scared, you can even stand up and go with us. Come on, you got the men. Put it up, set. Lift him up, set. Set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. Higher and higher. Set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. Come on now, so put it up there. Lift him. Come on, give me some energy up in here. Set, lift him. We're celebrating something. We're celebrating the next level. Set, lift him. Come on, sopranos. Let's go. Here we go. Hey, set, lift him. Woo, set. Set, lift him. High, high. Set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. All right, y'all really want to go there? Let's go to the next level. Oh, set, lift him up. Set, lift him up. High and high. Whoa. Even do better. Put it up like say, lift him up. Say, lift him up. High and high. Whoa. Whoa. Now, if y'all not, I want you to just lift your hands up and say it higher. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Put it up. Just do this for me. I'm going to show you something. Let's go. Say, go a little bit higher. Said go a little bit higher. Said go a little bit, go a little bit, go a little bit. Oh, oh. Higher. Said higher. Higher. Said higher. Higher. Woo. Higher. Said higher. Higher. All right, so children, we're gonna do what we do best. Let's go. Everybody, let's jump. Said higher. Higher. Said higher. Higher. Said higher. Okay, they said keep going. Let's go. Okay, well, we are family. Everybody look at somebody next to you. Now this is gonna be this got a little bit. Come on, y'all run that track. Y'all gonna act like the people that's next to you is your family. Let's go, put your hand together. We gonna they want it to be a celebration. We just gonna do just that. Here we go. So y'all need to find somebody right next to you and say, you know, I don't know you, but you're my family anyway. Come on. We are family. Come on. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. Wave your hands around and you'll see. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. right, we get ready to challenge you right here. I know you're sitting here. Come on, get up. Come on, everybody. Get up. Get up. This is your day. Celebrate. Celebrate. We're going to start the party right now. Come on. Everybody start the party. It's the woo. Step. Everybody. Come on, let's go. Put your hands together. It's a day to celebrate here in Illinois. Everybody day. There's a lot of history going on here. Woo! Come on. Come on. Get it. Come on. The party started. Everybody say it. We are all family in this place. Oh! Here. Somebody make some noise like you believe it. We are. Somebody scream in this place. Raise the roof. Come on, Illinois, raise the roof.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of governor, please welcome Governor-elect J.B. Pritzker, accompanied by Donnie Pritzker, Teddy Pritzker, and M.K. Pritzker. The oath will be administered by the Honorable James E. Snyder.
Are you ready?
Oh boy. Are you excited?
Yeah, come on, right up on your mom. Oh, right up on your mom. Okay. Please place your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, J.B. Pritzker,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully exercise
and that I will faithfully exercise
the duties of Office of Governor of Illinois
the duties of Officer of Governor of Illinois
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. I want to begin today by thanking my family. First, my partner, my best friend, the love of my life, and now the First Lady of Illinois, M.K. Pritzker. My wonderful children, Teddy and Donnie, I love you more than life itself. And my parents, Sue and Don Pritzker, who departed this world too soon, more than 3 decades ago, but who left behind a set of values around honor and decency that will endure as long as there are good people in the world. And please join me in giving an ovation for my partner and your Lieutenant Governor, the incomparable Juliana Stratton. I want to acknowledge the other distinguished guests here today: Chief Justice Lloyd Carmeier, President John Cullerton, Speaker Michael Madigan, Leader Bill Brady, Leader Jim Durkin, Attorney General-elect Kwame Raoul, Secretary of State Jesse White, Comptroller Susana Mendoza, Treasurer Mike Frericks, members of the General Assembly, members of the congressional delegation, Governor Pat Quinn, Governor Bruce Rauner, and National Guard Adjutant General Richard Hayes. To all of you, on behalf of the people of Illinois, I thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, for 200 years, Illinois has proudly stood as the beating heart of our republic, a place whose people have high hope and clear vision. This is where Lincoln found the mettle to grip a warring nation in both hands and hold us together. This is where Obama came to organize and to witness the courage that runs deep in our communities, in whom he found the fortitude to launch his bid to make history. This is where the 13th and 19th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution were first ratified, ending slavery and guaranteeing a woman's right to vote. This is where, on the Sunday morning after the Great Chicago Fire, Reverend Robert Collier, pastor of the First Unitarian Church, an immigrant, an ardent anti-slavery abolitionist, and a women's suffrage advocate, stood amidst the broken ruins of his once grand church and brought hope and vision to his devastated congregation. His parishioners gathered around him, the sun peeking through gutted walls and splintered beams, an overturned column serving as his pulpit. His words that morning have survived the 148 years since, a testament to their power and truth. What is lost, he asked? First, our homes. Second, our businesses. But these are temporary. What we have not lost is our geography. Nature called the lakes, the forests, the prairies together in convention long before we were born. And they decided that on this spot a great city would be built. We have not lost hope. The fire makes no difference to me. If you'll stay here, I will. And we'll work together and help each other. We want strong families, but we have yet to embrace more robust policies supporting paid parental leave and affordable child care that will sustain them. We watch 100-year storms that now come every year, and yet we don't allow the science of climate change to guide our decision-making. We fail to hold accountable pageantry for patriotism. We're a nation founded on fearless ideas, and yet we move away from those drawn to that vision. We want better roads, better wages, better schools, but we vilify anyone who dares suggest a workable path to those things. We allow schools and movie theaters and hospitals and neighborhoods to become battlefields, legally accessible by the weapons of war. Our abdication of responsibility must end. Just a few weeks ago, I went to Mercy Hospital to attend a vigil honoring the victims of the murderous shootings there, to honor the police officer who ran into gunfire and not away from it, to honor the University of Illinois doctor who raised money for disadvantaged kids and led her church choir, to honor a pharmacist who went into medicine because she had struggled with health problems herself. These are the very best of Illinois. As a public servant, it's hard to bear witness to violence such as this. But this job also exposes you to people who stitch us together, time and again, to the Illinoisans who remind us what amazing capacity we have to change. At the Mercy Hospital Vigil, Sister Barbara Sentinel read a Franciscan prayer that speaks to who we are in Illinois. She said, "May God bless us with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that we may reach out our hands to comfort them and turn their pain into joy. And may God bless us with enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world, so that we can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness to all our children and the poor." At 200 years old, Illinois is still a young promise. Our time here has been but a blink. In 2019, we must begin a new century with a new maturity and enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world. That starts with leadership that abandons single-minded, arrogant notions. No, everything is not broken. Our history is a story of leaps forward and occasional stumbles backward. and a promise renewed with each generation that we will try harder, that we will do better, that big breakthroughs are built of centuries of selfless effort by unheralded heroes, that big change rides on what we can do together, not on what one person attempts alone. Neighbors working side by side in Taylorville lost their homes and worldly possessions in the recent tornadoes. They know that what Reverend Collier said right after the Great Chicago Fire was right. We work together to help each other out of our troubles. So today, with all the challenges Illinois faces, Democrats and Republicans will work together, and we must begin with our most basic responsibilities. We will propose, debate, and pass a balanced budget this year. It won't be easy, but let's confront this challenge with honesty. Our obligations as a state outmatch our resources. Our fiscal situation right now is challenging, and the solution requires a collective commitment to embracing hard choices. We need to bring efficiencies to state government. Our information technology systems are outdated and they cost more to maintain than they do to replace. Inexpensive healthcare prevention programs were decimated, causing higher spending to treat diseases that could have been cured. Balancing the budget means lowering the cost of government while delivering the high-quality services that Illinoisans deserve. But be clear about this. I won't balance the budget on the backs of the starving, the sick, and the suffering. And I won't hollow out the functions of government to achieve an ideological agenda. I won't make government the enemy and government employees the scapegoats. Responsible fiscal management is a marriage of numbers and values, which is why it's time to start the earnest work of creating a fair tax system here in Illinois. Our regressive tax system, including property taxes and sales taxes, currently has the middle class paying nearly double the rate that the wealthy pay. That's not fair, and it doesn't pay our bills. Today, our state's fiscal instability affects every single person who lives and works in Illinois, whether you earn millions or the minimum wage. It means that our government wastes tens of millions of dollars paying higher interest rates than almost any other state. And we scare businesses and families away because they fear our uncertain future. The current tax system is simply unsustainable. Others have lied to you about this fact. I won't. The future of Illinois depends on the passage of a fair income tax, which will bring us into the 21st century like most of our Midwestern neighbors and like the vast majority of the United States. Now, I'm not naive about what it will take to do this. All who enter a discussion about our state's budget and a fair tax system in good faith will be welcome to the table. But if you lead with partisanship and scare tactics, you will be met with considerable political will. It's time to update and repair our state's aging infrastructure. Railways, roads, bridges, and freshwater arteries are on the verge of collapse. Crumbling bridges mean people's lives are in danger. Deteriorating rail systems means goods and services take longer to deliver and they cost more. We are the nation's supply chain hub, and we must be built like it. Let's remember, too, that an aging highway system is not just concrete and steel. It's a longer commute home. It's missing those golden hours between dinner and bedtime when your kids are young, where you spend a few minutes reading a book together and talking about their day. The seemingly dry acts of government really do affect the richness and joy of our lives. We must treat the decisions we make together, the decisions of our elected officials to champion a cause, and the decisions of our citizens to embrace or reject those efforts with an eye to the pursuit of happiness. As we enter Illinois' third century, we must bring a renaissance to downstate Illinois, which has been deprived of some basic resources for education and business building that are taken for granted elsewhere in our state. To begin with, we will work to deliver high-speed broadband internet coverage to everyone in every corner of Illinois. Today, every new job and every student is dependent upon connectivity, and no part of our state should be left out. Now, our future depends upon our actions today, and that's why we must embrace a broad vision of environmental protection, or else decisions are going to be forced upon us in ways that will offer us little control and catastrophic outcomes for our children. I believe in science, and to that end, as one of my first acts as governor, Illinois will become a member of the U.S. Climate Alliance, upholding the goals and ideals of the Paris Climate Accord. Working men and women deserve to have a governor and a Department of Labor that will enforce laws protecting workers' wages and workers' rights. And they deserve a $15 minimum wage. It's good for the working families of Illinois and good for our economy. As your governor, I will be committed to helping us become the fastest growing big state economy in the nation. I'll be our state's best chief marketing officer to attract jobs and businesses to Illinois. We'll bring capital and technical assistance and mentorship to help Illinoisans across our state to start and build new businesses and new jobs. Our economic success depends upon that. In the interests of keeping the public safe from harm and in the interests of expanding true justice in our criminal justice system and advancing economic inclusion, I will work with the legislature to legalize, tax, and regulate the sale of recreational cannabis in Illinois. We will approach education with a holistic mindset, recognizing that students do their best in community schools where teachers are paid well. And where kids start learning at the earliest ages. And our economy grows when vocational training, when community colleges and universities are strong. And we will do all of this with the most diverse set of voices and perspectives that Illinois has ever seen. I have built a cabinet of people who will bring with them experiences that I don't share, from communities I did not come from, with expertise I don't have, because to lead well, all of Illinois must be represented in the decision making. And furthermore, I want all of the children of Illinois to see someone who looks like them in our government. High hope and clear vision are what have built this state. Despite all the turmoil in this world, Illinoisans continue to build, innovate, create, and dream. Our agriculture sector is built on the most fertile soil in the world, and it's expanding, employing more than 700,000 people in every part of this state. We have nearly 13,000 manufacturing firms in Illinois that employ more than 580,000 people, most of them proud union workers with the best training in the world. One out of 10 computer science degrees in the nation comes from Illinois' colleges and universities. Our entrepreneurs continue to be tireless dreamers. Whether it's Jamie Gladfelter creating a software development incubator in Galesburg, Jeremy Draper shaping glass in Peoria, Lena Kim creating custom jewelry in Evanston, or Leif Anderson still using his grandfather's original recipes to make and sell candy in Richmond. That's the Illinois that I see, one of possibility and promise. That's the Illinois that I know, one whose people are fearless and audacious. And that's the vision I have for this state, another century of boundless opportunity. When your faith in this future flags, I urge you to remember Reverend Collier and his ruined church, how he was the vessel for his parishioners' burnt hopes, how he saw the natural beauty of Illinois and knew that nothing could steal that from them. I see the natural beauty of Illinois in our people. More than anything else, I see it in our capacity to be kind. Consider the story a few weeks ago of Casey Handel and Zadette Rosado. Casey and Zadette moved to Barrington last May, and they proudly flew a rainbow flag behind their home. And then someone snuck into their backyard and stole it, replacing it with an American flag. Ironic, because the thief doesn't understand that you rob the American flag of meaning when you steal a person's symbol of self-expression. Now, that could have been the end of that story, but Casey and Zadette's neighbor Kim Fillion wouldn't let it be. She put a pride flag in her yard in solidarity, and then she kept buying them because her neighbors kept asking for them too. Soon there were pride flags everywhere. A place that hate had tried to fill was conquered by love instead. And Kim Fillion noted, frankly, I've grown weary of this, of all this hate. And I gotta say, it just seemed like there was one thing that I could do that I had control of. Remember that our ability to grow weary of hate fuels our enormous capacity to be kind. The bright moments of our past, the North Stars of our future, are all lit not by ambition, partisanship, or greed, but by kindness. A willingness to be kind is a virtue often overlooked in life. A commitment to be kind in politics can change the world. Over a century ago, public policy grounded by kindness offered a penniless immigrant to Illinois a bed to sleep in, a public school education, and the opportunity to succeed. And 130 years later, his great-grandson just took the oath of office to become governor of this great state. So thank you, Illinois. Thank you for your faith in me. I promise to live up to it every day. Together, let's go into this new century with enough faith to help each other out of our troubles, with enough foolishness to believe that we can make a difference in this world, and with enough kindness to find the courage to change. Thank you. God bless the state of Illinois, and God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of Lieutenant Governor, please welcome Lieutenant Governor-elect Juliana Stratton, accompanied by Brian Eccles, Tyler Stratton, Cassidy Stratton, and Ryan Stratton. The oath will be administered by the Honorable Adrian Davis.
Please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible and repeat after me. I state your name,
Juliana Stratton,
do solemnly affirm
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Lieutenant Governor according to the best of my ability. Congratulations, Madam Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you all. As I stand on this stage before you, I cannot start my remarks without first pausing to give honor to an awesome God. A God who has kept me and protected me and sustained me every step of the way, who has called me to the work that I do and has given me a passion for public service. I am humbled and eternally grateful to stand where I do today, and I feel incredibly blessed to be of service to all of you. Congratulations to all of my fellow constitutional officers being sworn in today. To Judge Adrian Davis, thank you for administering the oath of office. To Evangelist Johngina Dinsmore, thank you for speaking a blessing over me this morning at the prayer service. To my love, Brian, thank you for your steadfast support and for taking my hand every single day and praying over me. I am so proud of the man that you are and to have you by my side, and without a doubt, you have made this journey so much easier, and I love you. To my remarkable daughters, Tyler, Cassidy, Ryan, and Mackenzie, I stand in awe of your inner and outer beauty and the many ways that you are able to authentically express unwavering love and support. I know the sacrifices you also have made for me to be here today, and I appreciate you and I love you all so much. And I've been waiting to say this. To Governor J.B. Pritzker, I am so honored to serve as your partner as you lead the great state of Illinois, and I am grateful for your vision to lift up every community and serve every resident of our state. And I can't think of anyone else that I'd want in your place as we get ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work. And to know that MK will be at your side as our fantastic First Lady. And Teddy and Donnie to round out our first family only makes this journey even sweeter. And to all of you who are gathered here today for this momentous occasion, elected officials and other colleagues, family, friends, my special group of sister friends, to my To my Jack and Jill and Link sisters, to the illustrious women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and to so many that I have met along the way, even those who are supporters as well as those who might have hoped for a different outcome, to all of you, I look forward to working with you, listening to your perspectives and partnering with you to better the lives of all Illinoisans. I stand here today on the shoulders of my ancestors whose blood runs through my veins and who understood the principles of collective responsibility in community building. See, before she died in 1983, my maternal grandmother, Velma Slaughter, wrote out the family history for her grandchildren, and it has meant so much to me that it was inserted in the Bible upon which I laid my hand a few moments ago. My grandmother wanted me and all of her grandchildren to know that we come from a line of people who are community builders from the ground up. That my ancestors were never solely concerned with just their own lineage, but were committed to building a community where their neighbors and those across the street and around the corner and across town could also succeed. For over 35 years, I've read my grandmother's words and longed to know what life was really like for my great-great-grandfather, William Stevens, and his twin brother, Daniel, who were born into slavery and whose story she told. And sometime after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation and my ancestors were set free, the Stevens brothers were given a large plot of land in Mississippi by the man that once owned them. William and Daniel Stevens married two sisters, one being my great-great-grandmother Margaret, and they continued to purchase adjoining land and rented it out to tenants. These brothers, formerly enslaved, were industrious and continued to build this community. They farmed the land, growing cotton, vegetables, and fruit, and tended to livestock and poultry. And they helped to create every institution that was needed for their tenants to live full lives: a church, a school, a general store, a post office. These two brothers, my ancestors, understood the value of community and recognized that in lifting up others, it creates a legacy of opportunity for generations to come. This past summer, I took a short journey to Stevensville, Mississippi, where the land was given and named after my great-great-grandfather and his brother, with an aching desire to walk upon the soil of those that came before me and whose legacy I seek to honor every day of my life. The trip had spiritual implications, as I wanted to reconnect with my roots in the rural experience at a time that I was traveling the rural areas of our state and meeting so many people and listening to the stories of those whose lives were so very different than mine on the south side of Chicago. I discovered the schoolhouse that my ancestors helped build. And I immediately connected to why we are fighting to ensure that every child has access to quality education, starting at the earliest years and all the way through what should be affordable and accessible opportunities in vocational and higher education. I discovered the church that my ancestors helped found. And I'm immediately connected to why we prioritize rebuilding and strengthening human services in our state, understanding that we must be compassionate towards those in need and demonstrate benevolence to the most vulnerable in our state. And I discovered the Stevensville Market, a small store that had all of the essentials and seemingly the only business in town. And I immediately connected to why entrepreneurship and economic opportunity and inclusion must be guiding values for strengthening our state's often forgotten communities, and thereby strengthening all of Illinois. My trip to Stevensville, Mississippi, was powerful, and it centered me for the work that lies ahead. See, I had to reach back to my past to better understand my future, to be reminded that community building is not done principally through policy making or legislation or proclamations. Community building is done when we refuse to let our narrow self-interest be the sole guiding force, and instead put them on hold long enough to listen to someone who has an opposing idea, to break bread with someone whose circumstances seem vastly different than our own, and to commit to working side by side, even when it's hard, to make life better, not just for our own, but for those around us, and mostly for generations that follow us. On December 3rd, 1818, Illinois became the 21st state. 200 years later, with the DNA of my formerly enslaved great-great-grandfather, William Stevens, as part of my genetic makeup, I am proud to stand before you as our state's first Black lieutenant governor. The historic nature of my inauguration is not lost on me. It is also not lost on me that in 2019, having just celebrated our state's bicentennial and entering our third century, that we are still a nation and a state of first. That there are still doors of opportunity that have been closed for far too many, for far too long, and that there are still too many spaces in our democracy where what was meant to be a representative government simply fails to be a representation of us all. We have to change that. And while progress is being made, albeit too slowly, it is abundantly clear that we will never realize our full potential if we fail to embrace our interconnectedness and broaden the community. I cannot be my best self if I am not working for you to be your best self. We simply cannot be our best selves as Illinoisans if we don't proactively and intentionally seek ways to listen to one another, to problem solve together and highlight our commonalities more than we seek out our differences. As Illinoisans, though we number nearly 13 million, in many ways, we are, in fact, one community. And while this statewide community includes urban and suburban and rural, while it encompasses tech firms and manufacturing, small businesses, nonprofits, and family farms, while it's made up of different backgrounds and ages, faiths, and political affiliations, races, nationalities, and ethnicities, gender identities, and physical abilities. This is our community. We belong here. We must look out for each other, and we must work to build our community together. Illinois, in the spirit of my ancestors, William and Margaret Stevens, Henry and Janie Wiggins, Wilbur and Velma Slaughter, and my parents and those who have parented me, Henry and VK, Martin and Gwendolyn, Lindbergh and Sammy. I am honored to serve as your Lieutenant Governor, and I am more committed than ever before to working on your behalf, fighting for what's right, putting the people of Illinois first, ensuring an inclusive and representative government, and working alongside of all of you to make our community, this Illinois community, the very best that it can be. Thank you. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the state of Illinois, and may God bless the United States of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of Attorney General, please welcome Attorney General-elect Kwame Raoul, accompanied by Che Raoul and Mizan Raoul. The oath of office will be administered by the Honorable Sharon Johnson Coleman.
Raise your right hand. Right hand. I,
Kwame Raoul,
do
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Attorney General
of the Office of Attorney General
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Well, all right. Good afternoon, Illinois. I want to first give thanks and honor to God. He has been good to me. And I thank him for his mercy and his generosity. For when he sent me the disease that took my dad, he also sent a doctor into my life. Not the doctor that would cure me, but the doctor who would love me through the process of my treatment and through a tough campaign. Dr. Lisa Moore, I love you. God is right on time. Thank you for providing me with two older sisters, Edwidge and Ninaj, and a wonderful son and daughter, Che and Mizan, who are unafraid to call me out when I'm wrong-headed, yet love me unconditionally. I love you. To my mother, who could not be here for health reasons, yet she's watching online, provided that my nephew got the Wi-Fi working right. And to my dad, who is here in spirit and watching from above, I love you. Thank you to all the Raouls and the Bances and all of my family and friends who have traveled here to witness the son of Haitian immigrants. A birthright citizen born to a mother not yet naturalized at the time, be sworn in as the 42nd Attorney General of the state of Illinois. Thank you to my big sister, Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman, and Reverend Tyrone McGowan, both members of Trinity United Church of Christ, the best church this side of the River Jordan. To Governor Pritzker and all of the constitutional officers, to the judiciary, members of the congressional delegation, and to my brothers and sisters from the Illinois General Assembly, thank you for your willingness to step up and serve the people of the state of Illinois. I pay special tribute to the legendary service of Lisa Madigan. For 16 years, she has always operated with the professionalism and the integrity that we ought to expect from all of our public officials. Thank you, Lisa. Now, Lisa Madigan jokes that I've been aspiring to her job for a very long time, and there's a grain of truth to that. But the AG's office that I thought about running 4 years ago is different from the one that I've assumed today. The role of State Attorney General, not just here, but throughout our country, has evolved dramatically in recent years as this nation and the world have looked to these previously obscure state officials to block misguided federal policies that violate our citizens' rights. And at the same time, there remain within our boundaries problems for which we cannot blame President Trump. We must continue to ensure that Illinoisans are not unduly burdened by utility rates, that their privacy is guarded in an evolving world of smart technology, and that their health is safe from environmental threats. We must exercise vigilance in protecting our children, whether at school, in places of worship, or online. We are morally bound not to only protect them in those places where we expect them to be safe, but to get rid of the notion that places exist in our state where they do not deserve an expectation of safety. During the transition period, I've come to appreciate that Lisa Madigan's most praiseworthy accomplishment is her success in recruiting and retaining legal and support staff of the highest caliber. They are not attracted to these jobs by the compensation, I guarantee you, because it is insufficient for their talents, but by the work, because the work is one of protecting the most vulnerable in our state. All of us who are in public service must ask ourselves the question, how will we use our voices? To disparage our state or to uplift it? Some criticisms of our state are legitimate, but we cannot move forward to correct our problems if we don't appreciate our assets and commit to protecting them. We can be proud of our large and diverse population, which mirrors America and calls on us to take a greater leadership role amongst other states that are stepping up together to oppose federal attacks on our values. And we can be proud of the diversity and quality of our workforce who simply want to work for a fair wage. Now, to that end, the General Assembly has enacted laws to protect our greatest asset, our working people. And they are to be enforced, not to merely sit on the books. That is why I will work in a bipartisan manner with Senator John Curran and Representative Jay Hoffman on legislation to create a bureau within my office to protect working people from wage theft, misclassification, workplace discrimination, and other violations. To raise our voices effectively for those we represent, we must restore public trust at all levels of government. Now, some elected officials have undermined this effort by way of unethical and sometimes illegal behavior. I firmly believe, as Justice Brandeis did, that sunlight is the best of disinfectants. I will do my part to let in sunshine by adequately resourcing the public access counselor and make the office work proactively to create transparency in government. Now, I learned through a lengthy campaign that different people have different opinions on the function of this office. Prosecuting crime and political corruption, defending the state in court, providing for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault, protecting health care, including reproductive health care, consumer advocacy, and holding the line against leaders who ignore the law and our Constitution. Now, they are all right, and I appreciate the magnitude of the many tasks I am assuming. But there is one function that hasn't historically been expected of the office, but to which I am compelled to raise my voice in advocacy as Attorney General. The level of violence we experience within our state is unconscionable. Just 4 days ago, there was a double shooting on my block. There should be no public official anywhere in Illinois who does not take responsibility for doing his or her part to address it. Now, there was a time when the opioid and heroin epidemic was perceived as being quarantined to certain areas, in part because we accepted the abusive practices of an industry that manufactured or sought to profit from painkillers, but also in part because we ignored a street heroin problem we wrongly perceived to be isolated. The epidemic has now spread to every community in our state, from Waukegan to Cairo. We are taking a similarly short-sighted attitude towards gun violence if we ignore those who seek to profit from the sale of illegal guns and view gun violence as quarantined within certain neighborhoods in particular cities. And let us be clear, we cannot prosecute and incarcerate our way out of this problem. We must take a comprehensive statewide approach that emphasizes prevention, takes on gun trafficking, and responds to victims of violent crime in a trauma-informed and culturally competent manner. This will mean expanding who we accept to be a victim. If we ignore a class of those affected by violence because of where they live, what they look like, or what mistakes they have made, we only enable victims of violence to evolve into being perpetrators of the same. So today, we make new commitments to raising our voices constructively to protect and promote our greatest assets: our workers, our young people, our natural resources, our seniors, our veterans, and our diverse communities. I am truly honored by the trust put in me to engage in this work of advocacy as your Attorney General. This is truly an opportunity of a lifetime. It is the work of my life, and I am just getting started. God bless the great state of Illinois. God bless the United States of America. And God bless all of his children, no matter what side of the border they may reside. Thank you, Illinois.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of Illinois Secretary of State, please welcome Secretary of State Jesse White, accompanied by Susan Jones. The oath of office will be administered by the Honorable Toya T. Harvey.
Please raise your right hand to be sworn. I state your name.
Jesse White,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of the Secretary of State
the duties of the office of the Secretary of State
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Mr.
Thank you very much,
Secretary
Judge.
of State.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to be here with you today. But before I begin, I'd like to recognize a few of our honored guests. Former Governor Ronner, former Governor Pat Quinn, Senator Durbin, Senator Duckworth, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, President Cullerton, Speaker Madigan, Danny Davis, who happens to be my congressman, the unions, the union leaders, the precinct captains, the precinct committeemen, the county chairman, ward committeeman, and my Alderman Walter Burnett, Billy Dyson, Bob Lawson, Tom Benigno, Bob Yedgar, Leo Lucius, the list goes on and on. Thank you. But before they part the stage, I'd like to introduce my family to you. We have Glenna Jones, who is my daughter, Coral White, my sister, Jesse White III, and he is an engineer in biomedical. Susan Jones, my granddaughter, she is a world-class gymnast. So with that, I want to thank Toya Harvey, Judge Toya Harvey, for administering the oath. And by the way, before I'm ahead of myself, will the Jesse White family please stand up? If you are part of the Jesse White family, stand up. Otherwise, I'll have to suspend your license from here. To Ray Berryhill, he prayed for me this morning at church. He used to be one of my students. Reverend Berryhill. I'd like to congratulate J.B. Pritzker. I've known him for about 35 years. And I know about his commitment to duty. I know that not only will he take on the job, but he'll take on the responsibility that goes with it. Juliana Stratton, I love, admire, and respect her because she too will hit the ground running, making us proud of the fact that we've elected her to this office. Juliana, you said that you're the first African American to serve as Lieutenant Governor. Well, I just happen to be the first African American to serve as Secretary of State. With the name White. Maybe I need a little sensitivity training. My good friend Mike Frericks, Comptroller Susanna Mendoza. JB, I know for a fact that you're going to be a true representative of the people of the state of Illinois, and I'm going to look forward to working with you because I know where your heart is. I know that you want to make the state what it should have been a long time ago and what it could possibly be in the future. So, JB, thank you for giving, thank you for caring, and thank you for getting involved with this process. The campaigns are over, and it's now time for us to get back to work. I look forward to working with all of you to make this state the state that it should have been, the state that we want it to be, and of course, when we work together, wonderful things happen, and some wonderful things are going to be happening here in the state of Illinois. I am honored to have been given an opportunity to serve as your Secretary of State for the past 20 years. And thanks to you, I received the largest number of votes in the midterm election in the history of the state of Illinois. And I won the largest Secretary of State in the United States with about 3,600 employees, a large budget, with a lot of wonderful and caring people who will not only take on the job, but they'll take on the responsibility that goes with it. So when you come into one of my 138 facilities, you no longer have to bring your duffel bag, sleeping bag, or your lunch bill. We get you in and out in a timely manner. And so, along with that, you no longer have to be treated in a disrespectful manner. We show love, and that's important. Public service has given me an opportunity to run an office that provide those meaningful services to you in a timely and highly professional manner. I want you to also remember, too, that I'm in your wallet, and in some cases, I'm in your purse. So remember, too, that he who giveth can't take it away. We provide a multitude of services to the people of the state of Illinois, and I'm really proud of the fact that my employees have taken on the responsibility of delivering those services to you in a highly professional manner in a timely way. And we're proud of the fact, too, that we're saving lives. We have a program called a GED, Graduated Driver's License. And we teach our young people from 16 to 17-year-olds how to get from point A to point B in a safe and responsible manner. There are 16-year-olds who lost their lives in Tazewell County. So I decided to establish a committee that would spend some time carving out ways and means by which we could help these young people to live a long and a productive life. And so we came up with the Graduated Driver's License Program, which will mean that parents have to spend 50 hours behind the wheel with their young driver, 10 hours at night, because we know that nighttime driving creates a problem for our young people, and only one unrelated person in the automobile with you for the first 1 year period of time. And as a result of that program, there has been a 51% reduction in the loss of lives at the hands of our teen drivers. And then we came with another program, the BAID device, B-A-I-D, breath, alcohol, ignition, interlock device, which means if you get a DUI and while your matters are being adjudicated, you could ask for this device to be placed in your car, you blow into the tube, if alcohol is detected, then the car won't start. we've had a 50% reduction in the loss of lives at the hands of these potential drunk drivers. I'm also in charge of the organ and tissue donor program. Here in Illinois, we have 4,700 people on the waiting list for an organ. 4,700 people die each year because the organs have not arrived in a timely manner. We ask that when you're alive and well, give blood. When you're no longer here, give organs. And when you've done those two things, you will help to save a life. One person can provide life, one improve the quality of life for 25 individuals. So if you have not signed up to become a part of this program, please do so. We don't want your organs now. We'll take them later. We have reformed our truck driving program. We brought on a fellow by the name of Jim Burns. He's the former U.S. attorney from the Northern District of Illinois. He came into our office, and he's there now, making sure that we bring integrity back to the Secretary of State's office. Running the largest Secretary of State office in the nation, I have 5,000 libraries that come under my jurisdiction. I've visited about 2,700 of them. Our mission is to make sure that they have the tools that are necessary for them to help individuals become better educated and better informed. And then I have 250 literacy programs that are out there to help senior citizens to learn how to read and write and for not becoming a victim of the various scams that are out there, because now they know that they can read the print that's on the page. I want to thank my staff for their commitment to duty. And I also should share with you, too, that I have a funny kind of a background. I was a state lawmaker for 16 years, the Cook County Recorder of Deeds for 6, 20 years in this office, 10 years in the military, jumping out of perfect good airplanes, all the way. And 8 years professional baseball in the Cub organization, 33 years as a teacher, and 59 years as coach and founder of the Jesse White Tubman team, and yet I'm not 150 years old. I was a gymnast as a kid, taught gymnastics in college, taught for the Board of Education, Park District, YMCA. And out of professional baseball, I was asked to pull in the gym show. From the one gym show in December 1959 came this program. We've had over 18,000 young people to come through it. We now have 300 on the team, 290 in training, and the young people have to become leafless, smokeless, and pipeless. They cannot practice pharmacy without a license. You know what I'm talking about, no drugs. And they cannot drop out of school to become a part of SWU, Sidewalk University. When they drop out of school, hang around the corners, get themselves in trouble with the law, and get arrested, and then cost we, the taxpayers, roughly about $30,000 a year to put one person in prison for 1 year. 83% of the people in prison today have not graduated from high school. So now you know who they are, I know who they are, and I'm going to try to save as many as I possibly can. When I think about the people who've helped me to be where I am today, I think about a fellow by the name of George Dunn, who's the longest-serving president of the Cook County Board. He asked me to run for state representative in a district that was 83% white, 12% black, 5% others, and I thought it was an uphill battle. Lincoln Park to Paul River North, Streeterville, the Gold Coast area, Magnificent Mile, Streeterville, Old Town, Ranch Triangle, and Cabrini Green. It was from the Gold Coast to the Soul Coast. And so I served that capacity for 16 years. I guess I fooled him with the name White. I need a little sensitivity training. And then when I think about my gymnastic coach, Vince Schoenfelder, Alonzo Krim, Russ Chappell, my basketball coach in high school, Fred Ross, Ironman McInnes, Alvin Tappy, he used to play for the Cubs. I played in the Cub organization. He was my manager. Phil Cavaretta, some of those names you may not remember. Pete Reiser, Rip Collins. And then I attended college at Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. Dr. King was my minister. I was the captain of the basketball team. And I see Alderman Sawyer, who's here. I lived in the same dormitory with your father, sir. and Dr. King was our minister. And Rosa Parks was arrested for sitting in the wrong part of the bus. And after every basketball game, he would give me $20. That was legal then. It's not legal now. And so at church, he said that he was asked to lead the effort to desegregate the Montgomery transit system, and he was going to use the nonviolent means approach. And he said, if you get struck on one cheek, you turn so you get struck on the other cheek. I said, I raised my hand. He said, Jesse White, what can I do for you? I said, Dr. King, you know I'm from Chicago, and we don't operate like that. And so he said, just follow the script, Jess. All is well. And so I want to thank him for allowing me to come his way or pass his way. And in closing, I'm honored to serve the people of the state of Illinois. I will be at my duty station tomorrow, discharging my duties to the best of my ability. And I'm going to say to you, Jesse White, reporting for duty.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of Comptroller of the State of Illinois, please welcome Comptroller Susana Mendoza, accompanied by David Quinton Sotzak, and her mother, Susana Mendoza. The oath will be administered by the Honorable Rosana Patricia Fernandez.
Kindly raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible. I, please state your name,
I, Susana Mendoza,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Office of Comptroller
the duties of the Office of Comptroller
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Illinois. Distinguished guests, friends, and family. I see some of my extended family over here. I can't tell you what great of an honor it is to get to share this special moment with you. It's always certainly tough to follow the greatest politician to serve the state of Illinois, the only one who can ever be called the greatest, and that would be Jesse White. I've truly been following him as anybody who calls himself a public servant our entire careers, and the same is true for mine. He is simply the best. I'd like to thank Judge Rosana Fernandez for swearing me in, and Reverend Donald Meeks for his prayers this morning and always. I'm so incredibly blessed to have been joined by my 83-year-old mother, the original Susana Mendoza, and for the record, the only person who tells me what to do. I want to say thank you so much to my husband, David, the greatest man in the world as far as I'm concerned, my true love, and the greatest unsung hero in my life of public service. Thank you, honey. And my heart is overflowing with pride in knowing that our most perfect creation was that little boy who was supposed to be holding the Bible for his mommy, but as you can tell, is a little bit under the weather. Just a couple days ago, he had 104.3 fever, and he's up here today, so he's a champ as far as I'm concerned. And while, there he is, little ham, and while he may not have done the full diligence of holding up that Bible, he will forever hold my heart. Keep it together. You can't talk about your kid and not lose it. So I just want to say that truly, another cool thing about little David is that today is a special day for his mommy, but it's also a special day for his mommy because he lost a front tooth. So yes. But look, these are just constant reminders, my family, of God's love for me and his ability to believe in how important it is to put us on a path to help others. And that is what motivates me every single day when I wake up. And it's what I think about every single night when I go to bed. And when I first ran for controller in the middle of this state's worst fiscal crisis, people asked me, "Are you crazy? Why on God's earth would you want to be controller? The job has never been harder. The state's finances have never been worse off." And I told them, well, that's exactly why I want to be controller. Because when I see a problem, I need to fix it. I can't just sit on the sidelines. Now, I think some of that mindset comes from my parents, Mexican immigrants who did everything they could do to give their kids a better life. And while my dad unfortunately passed away when I was 22 years old, as JB said when he mentioned his parents, he set the value structure in place for me to be here today, making him proud, and I know he's been with me every minute of every moment of my life. Now, it also comes from my son, who's the greatest inspiration I have to solve problems and to try to make things better. That's what we do as parents. And I'm proud of the work that we've been able to do in the Office of Controller. Together with the most amazing and the most dedicated staff, thank you to my controllers team. Thank you, guys. I love you so much. We corrected priorities to put the focus of this state on our most vulnerable populations. We worked with and prioritized small businesses and nonprofits across the state to make sure that they could make their payroll and survive that horrific and unnecessary 736-day budget crisis. We launched a transparency revolution, opening the books up so that you could see for the first time, and I could see for the first time, how many bills the state agencies were actually holding that we could not see before. We discovered that the budget impasse cost taxpayers $1 billion in late payment interest penalties. We will now require governors to show in their budgets how they plan to pay down those interest penalties. We also stopped governors from hiding their staff on state agency payrolls. And we pushed the governor to refinance much of our backlog of unpaid bills, which will save taxpayers $4 to $6 billion. We've been very busy. Now, in the weeks and months to come, I will be laying out this year's plans, including a legislative agenda to continue that transparency revolution. The Comptroller's Office will be the best source for numbers and predictive modeling, setting the tone for discussions about state finance and budget, learning from the mistakes of the past to chart the most responsible course forward. The impasse was a dark time for state government, and for the Comptroller's Office in particular. But today, we turn the page on that unfortunate chapter in our state's history. And there's a lesson I want us to carry into what I'm certain will be a brighter future for our state. That lesson is that the morally correct thing to do is most often the fiscally sound one too. We have a lot of work to do. We still face a $7.5 billion backlog of unpaid bills. Social services, higher education, and infrastructure have been left behind in large part. Our state workforce has been beaten down by understaffing and past administrations not honoring contracts with workers. But we will also gather here at a time of great hope. This is so exciting with new faces. Governor J.B. Pritzker, a kind and strong leader. And I say strong because even though he's kind, it's important to recognize that we should never, ever confuse kindness with weakness. I could not have been prouder to have supported the most amazing ticket that I think, ever get to serve with. Juliana Stratton, our Lieutenant Governor, an absolute meteoric rising star. So many little girls, Juliana, are now thinking they will someday not just be Lieutenant Governor, but Governor, and they look just like you. Thank you for that. Our Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, I just got to say that, I'm sorry. He's going to be fantastic, and so many other new members of the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans. I look forward to working with all of you. Now, in 2016, my heart was touched that the people of Illinois chose me to serve out the last 2 years of the term that belonged to my dear friend, Judy Bar Topinka. I see Joe Topinka in the audience, and thank you so much, Joe, for being here today. Her son. I tried to carry on in her bipartisan tradition by passing my entire legislative agenda with unanimous or near unanimous bipartisan majorities. I know a path to bipartisan success exists because we've walked it. Now, Illinois must reinvest in our schools and universities, tackle our pension problems, and recruit and retain businesses from Chicago to Cairo. We're not just budgeting and making policies for this year. We're building for the next generation because we want our kids and our grandkids to be proud even we have. Make no mistake about it, Illinoisans. This is the greatest state. We get to live here. Don't even think about moving anywhere else. This is where you want to be. This is it. The weather only weeds out the people who don't deserve to live here. And the greatest thing about Illinois is its people. You are truly this state's greatest resource, and I am so blessed and honored to get to represent you when it comes to our finances and when it comes to setting a moral compass that puts people first. Together, no matter what our challenges may be, there is nothing that we can't do. I'm excited to know that our best days are yet to come and that today we start anew. Thank you so much. God bless you. May He keep you. May He protect us all. May He bless our state. May He bless our country. And may He continue to keep us in His hands and in His prayers. And most importantly, guide us to always put the people that we represent first and foremost. Thank you so much. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, to swear the oath of office of Treasurer of Illinois, please welcome Treasurer-elect Michael Frericks, accompanied by Ella Frericks. The oath will be administered by the Honorable Michael McCuskey.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Michael Frericks,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Treasurer according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I have some stories to tell today. But before we tell those stories, I think it's best to take a little time for reflection, to take a moment of silence, to think about those who have helped us get here safely today. Those like Trooper Christopher Lambert, who gave their life but 2 days ago on our roads, making sure that our citizens were safe. Please join me in a moment of silence for Trooper Lambert and all of those who serve our state. Thank you. Last summer in this city, I told many of you that we have stories to tell, and I asked you to go out and share those stories. And for those of you who went out and talked to your friends, your neighbors, who showed up on strangers' doorsteps and shared your stories, I want to say thank you. Clearly, your efforts were rewarded by electing this team here today. I appreciate it very much. Now, whenever someone mentions storytelling, I think about that great American humorist, Mark Twain. Now, I know that Mark Twain did not live in Illinois. He lived just across the river, but I'm sure from Hannibal he looked across the Mississippi River and aspired to be one of us. Because quite possibly in his most famous novel, the two main characters, Huck and Jim, left Missouri and sailed for Cairo, Illinois. Now, when I also think about Mark Twain, I think about a quote that was attributed to him. He once said, or was quoted as saying, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant, I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years." Let this be a testament to the timeliness of human nature. The man over 100 years ago could have been speaking for me and my father. My dad is a union truck driver. He's a Teamster. My mother was a secretary and a member of AFSCME. And I'll tell you, they didn't always agree with or understand my choices, but they always supported my decisions and taught me to help others. I would not be here today but for their love, support, and life lessons. And for that, I have to say thank you. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Now, I'm only a few years away from that time when my daughter reaches that age when Mark Twain reached a conclusion about his father. My only hope is that it doesn't take me 7 years to attain wisdom in her eyes. My daughter serves to me as a reminder every day that the actions we take in these offices aren't for ourselves or even for our generation, but for future generations and to make them stronger. But I also need to thank my daughter for being such a great kid and the best thing that's happened to me in my life. Now, today is a day of inauguration. It is a time to move past our stories and into a time of action. One of our greatest leaders and one of our best storytellers, a former resident of this capital city, once addressed a crowd in Pennsylvania. And he said, "The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it cannot forget what they did here." And for those of you who doubt this, I challenge any of you to remember what I said here 4 years ago. But I'm going to guess, because you told me some of you remember what my daughter did here 4 years ago. Now, at a time of inauguration, I will spend a little time talking to you about what we've accomplished in the last 4 years and what my team is going to set out to accomplish in the next 4. And I say my team, I think of my employees as ghostwriters, because although my name is on the cover, they are responsible for all of the writing of the stories we have accomplished these last 4 years. And for that, I want to say a sincere thank you to my team in the Illinois State Treasurer's Office. I am a little biased, but I think they're the best team in Illinois. And I would just ask Governor Pritzker not to take too many of them away from me. At the Treasurer's Office, we started with people, because like in any good story, you need good characters. When I walked through the treasurer's door, our team looked at the returns we had made before. We'd earned $49 million in the previous year in office. But we challenged our team to do better, to think differently, to embrace informed risk and reward. And in doing so, in our most recent fiscal year, we realized more than $204 million in returns. $49 million to $204 million because we would not accept the status quo. We would not accept the tired storylines of the past. At the same time, we also looked at assets brokered by our MWVD firms. Those are firms owned by minorities, women, veterans, and persons with disabilities. On the surface, it seemed like a good story. $630 million in assets brokered by MWVD firms when I came into office. However, when we asked around and we listened to the stories of people who had never been asked to play a role in the Treasurer's office before, we quickly realized that this story could be improved. At the conclusion of our most recent fiscal year, we increased assets brokered with MWVD firms to $35.3 billion. $603 million when we walked in the door, $35 billion today. That translates to increasing MWVD investments by 58 times. I want to thank my team for making that happen. And we do this because everyone deserves a chance to succeed, not just those who historically have been near the center of power. We focused on people who have been mistreated by insurance companies and financial institutions. We use the power of the Treasurer's office to crack down on these misdeeds, and with the help of the General Assembly, we now have more tools to punish those who knowingly transgress in the future. We focused on families who want to pursue college or trade school and knew that they would need help saving for those costs. We slashed Wall Street fees and created different investment options, and today we have a record number of college savers, more than $10.5 billion, helping more than 600,000 young people in this state of Illinois. Today, the Treasurer's office is strong. It is a story of finding people who did not look like us, who did not hateful, no matter how despondent, so that they know that they are not alone and that there are people in government who care. I resolved to tell the story how the union wages of a truck driver and a university secretary helped send a downstate small-town kid to college. People need to hear how organized labor helps Illinois families and boosts our economy. There are other stories. Yes, some have been started and need quite a bit of editing. That does not scare me. As in life, the stories of our state, the arc upon which we set to bring opportunity and success to everyone who wants to participate, does not proceed in a linear fashion. But I am eager, I am excited, I am ready to read the books that have yet to be written, to identify solutions to the most pressing challenges facing our state, facing our family, facing your parents, and facing our children. First, however, we must identify those among us who are also ready. Their resolve might be different from mine, but they must show they are prepared to move away from divisiveness, and like so many first drafts of a story. We must be willing to identify the possible, to achieve the win, and to be generous in our praise, and then seek the next chapter. Pride of authorship, discrediting demands, and needless ultimatums cannot be included. The stories we write must be clearly understood, well-reasoned, and articulate. They must challenge each of us to be uncomfortable, prompt each of us to look inward, and inspire each of us to draw the best of those around us, because we are one Illinois. And together, we can help people learn the skills they need to start a career. We can help them to get an education without the crushing burden of debt. They'll be able to retire with dignity we can improve our infrastructure, and we can fight against those who put greed above simple human dignity. When we weave all of our stories together, we create a fabric that is much stronger than the individual threads. I ask you all here today to take up your pens and to help all of us here on this stage write that next great chapter in Illinois' history. Thank you all very much for giving me this opportunity. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the award-winning Broadway show Hamilton, please welcome Chicago's own Miguel Cervantes.
By the rivers gently flowing, Illinois, Illinois, or the prairies verdant growing, Illinois, Illinois, comes an echo or the breeze rustling through the leafy trees, and the verdant sounds are these, Illinois, Illinois. Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control who lives, who dies, who tells your story. I know that we can win. I know that greatness lies in you. But remember, from here on in, history has its eyes on you. Whoa, 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 whoa. History has its eyes on you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Waiting on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother that he's gotta rise up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. When are these colonies gonna rise up? When you're living on your knees, you rise up. Tell your brother he's got up. Tell your sister that she's gotta rise up. Come on, Illinois, we're gonna rise up. When you're living on your knees, you rise up. We got JB, we gonna rise up. Tell the people that we gonna rise up. Rise up, come on, rise up. When you're living on your knees, you rise up. We got JB, we gonna rise up. Tell those people that we gonna rise up. Rise up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Uno, dos, tres. I got the dynamo volition, a pole position, automatic transmission with no emission. I'm a brand new addition to the old edition with the love unconditional. Well, I'm a abolitionist, stand to my proposition. Half of a man, half magician, half a politician, holding the mic like ammunition. And my vision is a symbol of life. Ain't no reason we should be in a fight. Got to say what you like. Procreation compositions already written by themselves. It's for the people not believing in God. Good job, get them up way high, give me that high. Good time, get them way down low, give me that low dough. Good God, get them back again, give me that high 10. You're the best definition of good intention. Oh no, I do not answer the call if I do not know who is calling. Making no sense of it all. I said, can I get a witness? Only a boy in a story, just a hallucinatory. Tripping on nothing there is, living in the wilderness. Tiger spot on my back, living life of a cat. I just wanna relax here and write another rap tune. Blind man's bike, You can say just what you like. Well, nothing can stop you. No, 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 no. I am not throwing away my shot. 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 Hey yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. When's it gonna get me in my sleep? 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I'd live past 20. Where I come from, some get half as many. Ask anybody why we're living fast, and we laugh, reach for a flask. We have to make this moment last, and that's plenty. Scratch that, it's not a moment, it's the movement. Where all the hungriest brothers with something to prove. When foes oppose us, we take an honest stand. We roll like Moses, claiming our promised land. And if we win our independence, is that a guarantee of freedom for our descendants? Or with the blood in an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no defendants? I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, between all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and writing. We need to handle our financial situation. Are we a nation of states? What's the state of our nation? I'm past patiently waiting. I'm passionately smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing in the face of casualties and sorrow. For the first time, I'm thinking past tomorrow. Good job, get 'em up way high, gimme that high five. Good time, get 'em way down low, gimme the low dough. Good God, get 'em back again, gimme that high 10. You're the best definition of good intention, no, no, no. You're the best definition of good intention, no, no, no. You're the best definition of good intention, no, 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 no. You're the best around, no, no, no. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, to lead us in the benediction from Emmanuel Temple of Church of God in Christ, please welcome Bishop Juan Morrison.
What you all have been waiting for, the benediction. I'll give you the short version. Heavenly Father, we thank you for these leadership blessings that have been bestowed on Governor J.B. Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, as well as the entire elected officials of our great state of Illinois. Realizing that these elevations to office are promotions that neither come from the east, west, nor the south, but are divinely ordained. Lord God, we ask for your wisdom, knowledge, and guidance as they lead your people and fulfill your requirements to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you. Now unto him that is able to keep us from falling and to present us faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise God our Savior, be glory, majesty, dominion, power, both now and ever. Let the people say amen. May God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the 2019 inauguration ceremony of the Governor of Illinois and its constitutional officers. Please stand for the retiring of the colors.
was just a young man when he first heard the call. Come and join in the battle, come and give us your all. So he rose up to follow, leaving all else behind. And he joined in this song as he reached the front line. It's an honor to serve, to join in the fight, to lift up my voice, to lay down my life, giving glory to God, seeking none in return. It's an honor to serve. Now the day he was captured, they locked him in chains. Though the weeks turned to years, still his faith stayed the same. As his body was broken, his dark hair turned gray. Yet each night in his cell, he would stand up and say, it's an honor to serve, to join in the fight, to lift up my voice, to lay down my life, giving glory to God, seeking none in return. It's an honor to serve. Now one day the war finally came to an end, and he spoke from his heart as he stood with his men. We are honored to have had the opportunity to serve our country under difficult circumstances. We're profoundly grateful to our Commander-in-Chief and our nation for this day. As they live